Perfect.
Hi there.
Hello, hello. What is up, YouTubers of the world, or whoever actually watches these things?
Who knows? Welcome to another week of What Did You Read Wednesday. There you are. Josh is still here. I'm Hayden, and this is Josh, and we're going to tell you what we read for Wednesday, March 26th. I had to look at the date. And
You're behind on things already.
I know, man. Please.
I did not get much this week. A lot of stuff got canceled. If you guys don't know, you want to tell them what happened with the DC junk this week?
I did not get much. Oh yeah, the DC jump.
Yeah.
Sorry, it took me a second. So, DC announced that Forever Evil, Justice League, Suicide Squad, anything that was majorly tying into Forever Evil was getting pushed back to the end of May. 2-month delay.
And they still haven't made an announcement on it, so we don't know if it was a maybe, you know, if something happened, or they're going to change the story.
Like if John's got delayed or something.
Right.
You know, we don't know what happened.
So,
it's
hoping to hear confirmation on that, because this was mostly all Marvel and Independence for me.
I got 4 Marvels, 1 DC, and then Dark Horse.
Okay.
Cool. So, want to talk about the one thing we got in common this week?
I'll talk about Amazing X-Men number 5, the conclusion to the Quest for Nightcrawler.
By Jason Aaron and Ed McGuinness.
This art, man.
This was fun.
These spreads.
Ed McGuinness can freaking draw whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
This is, I think, the funnest.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, the funnest X-Men book out there.
The overview of the story is
Nightcrawler has amassed the X-Men in an attempt to fight the pirate forces of his father, Azazel.
Mm-hmm.
And
the X-Men, a few of the X-Men get teleported to 3 different places, but they end up banding together, and now it's basically an all-out brawl between Azazel and his band of demon pirates versus the X-Men.
Sure. And as they've been teasing for so long, this is the issue where Nightcrawler kind of finally comes back to the world. How they did it,
yeah.
I didn't see it
coming.
It was a plot thread that Jason Aaron has been kind of holding on to since his Wolverine and the X-Men run.
Right.
And I'll be honest, it took me a read or two to kind of figure out exactly what the hell happened.
Yeah, same here. And I actually didn't know. I didn't know that during this whole time that the Wolverine didn't have his healing factor, because they didn't. I don't think they mentioned it until this one, and then he gets stabbed and.
It's like, oh, what a bad time to lose your healing factor.
Yeah.
I mean, good of them to kind of tie in with the rest of the world, but still.
Definitely a fun story.
It was.
For sure.
Ties
things up.
I'm dropping it after this issue. It's like, I would love to keep following it. I really would. It looks like the series is going to examine X-Men relationships.
Yeah.
I love it. I just can't afford it.
Right.
There's so much good stuff out there. Can't do it.
So what would you give this?
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah.
While simultaneously being a mortal wound, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, it was great, I just can't follow it.
Right. So, nerdy and 8.
Nerdy and 8.
And move on.
If you want to do your thing real quick, because I'll be talking for a while.
You can go ahead and do one of those.
Okay, tell you what, let's start with the big gun for the day.
Oh, man. Well, dang it.
Here.
Because I haven't read it yet, but that's okay.
I'll spoiler-free as possible. Superior Spider-Man, number 30, by Stan Slott, Christoph Gage, and...
Part 4.
I'm sorry?
Part 4.
Out of 5. And Kamenolchi, I don't know how to pronounce his name, on art duties. Holy crap.
Crazy.
There are some huge revelations in this. We find out the fate of Otto Octavius. We find out the fate of Peter Parker. The Goblin War is still going strong. Slott's starting to set up some threads that are definitely...
He's getting somewhere.
He's starting to pick up traction. And that's my big complaint with this arc so far, is that Dan Slott's been taking his freaking time with it. And they're starting to really pick up with it from here. It's getting good. I've seen the best character development of Otto in this issue in the whole arc, all 30 issues. It's so good. The art's gorgeous. We see Otto. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I can't tell much more, but
I think this one's getting a 10.
I'd give it a 9. It's I don't. It's like sometimes the art's great. Sometimes the faces look kind of weird to me.
Has this guy let's see. Is Gage, has he done a lot of the Superiors?
Coming off. Gage has co-written a lot of Superior.
As this guy, is this the first issue he's drawn of Superior?
No, Kaminoshi? No, he's done a couple arcs.
Okay.
He switched with Stegman and Ramos a couple times. I can imagine why they bring Gage in. He slots right in a bunch right now. This is a lot of plot threads to run at once. Right. So once again, I'll give it a 9. There's one more issue left, and I have to wait 2 weeks. I know that's not awful, but I need it now. Oh, also, real quick, before I forget, this book also came with a free copy of Black Widow #1. So, you know, Superior ends and then Black Widow.
How was that?
That was pretty fun.
Yeah. It's like, been a while since it came out.
It came out a
month
and some change ago.
Yeah.
Do it. Guys, go out and buy Black Widow #1. It's amazing. Not what I'm reviewing, but just as a side note. Alright, go ahead and you do one.
I always like to talk about this one, The Walking Dead All Out War. If you watched the last review, you know that the last time there was a huge cliffhanger with Mr. Grimes in the last issue. And this issue was also really good. The really only complaint I have about this issue is it's a lot about it's really dark out. So they're fighting in the dark, and you have some cool dark scenes because you never really get to see the Walking Dead. You haven't ever seen it at night where it's on the black and white, and that's really cool. But everything's kind of rushed in it. I think a lot of the pieces could have been sprawled out a little bit, but that was just Robert Kirkman's way of getting through this issue. Eugene plays a huge part in this issue. This issue is where Eugene steps up and becomes a leader and actually makes. He's just been a background character that's been there making ammunition and preparing whatnot. He steps up and he does something really, really heroic in this issue, which is really cool. I definitely recommend it.
That's surprising.
And we find out more about the twist on the end about what happened in the last issue, and it's just not looking good. There's 2 issues left of this.
Oh, dude.
And it's actually getting somewhere. I'm enjoying this a lot. I would give this, with the rushing, a 7 out of 10 just because some things were confusing in this and you had to give it a couple reads.
Keeping in mind, I have no idea what happened to Rick. I know it. Given Kirkman's talking about Rick, what would you say are the odds of him getting alive out of this? Do you think Rick will make it out alive?
I honestly, I don't know, man. I think it's a 50-50 with this issue.
Ooh.
A 50-50 with this issue. And the next issue is going to probably either seal his fate or not.
I like that answer.
So, nerdy, 7 out of 10.
Okay, cool. Eeny, meeny, miny, Hulk. Okay.
Mighty Hulk.
Mighty Hulk. Final issue of Indestructible Hulk #20 by Mark Waid.
Sets up the relaunch.
The relaunch for Hulk next month with Mark Waid and Mark Bagley. This was terrible.
Really?
This was awful. Honestly, I'm glad it's relaunching because it gave me an excuse to drop the book. I have been kind of riding it out a little longer than I should have, hoping it would get good. The Inhumanity tie-in dragged it down, and it did not work. I mean, you followed it for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I followed the first 7 or 8 issues. Those were pretty fun. Those were really good.
Awesome.
But then it just kind of, I don't know.
See, I jumped on board with the Agent of Time after.
And I heard that story was really, really well.
It's fun, but
yeah, the Inhumanity tie-ins for a bunch of the Marvel books were just I didn't enjoy them.
I can't recommend this. I give it a 4, and that's.
Is that because Hulk is spelled with 4 letters?
No, there's some good writing from Banner and Maria Hill towards the end, and there's a decent cliffhanger at the end. So there's some redeeming value, and I can't hate Mark Waid a lot. I really can't. Yeah, death. This was terrible.
So I don't have anything else, so it's going to be Hayden talking, and I'm just going to put in my inputs.
Cool beans. Let's do my one... let's round out Marvel today.
Into the Trial of Jean Grey story.
Into Trial of Jean Grey. Guardians of the Galaxy #13 by Brian Michael Bendis and Sarah Pacelli. This was fun. This was really great. I said in a previous video that this crossover should not work. The original five X-Men and X-23, she joined the team.
Okay.
And the Guardians, that should not work. It does.
Really?
We get some. My complaint with the book is that it felt more of an all-new X-Men book than the Guardians book.
Okay.
They had a lot of plot threads to wrap up for the X-Men more than the Guardians, so that makes sense. We see Jean Grey unleashed in a way I have never seen her. And that includes adult Jean Grey.
Really?
This is Jean Unleashed. It's a cool application of her powers that they use.
Okay.
Rocket and Groot have one of the best scenes I've ever seen. I'm going to tell you this. This does not spoil a bit of plot, but this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So, they all come back to Earth. The fight's done. Some people have survived. Some people are a little hurt. No, nothing. Not going to say anything. So they're all talking, and over in the distance, Groot's looking at this tree, and he's just, I am Groot. And Rocket's like, come on, don't hit on the tree. Don't make this weird. Then a bunch of raccoons show up. And Rocket just looks concerned.
Oh my gosh.
It is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's a couple decisions made in this book that will definitely inform all new X-Men going into the future.
And what about Guardians?
Is
it gonna set up anything for Guardians in the future, or is it just kind of
possibly? The Guardians make some big enemies in this book.
Okay.
So there are more changes for the X-Men than there are for Guardians.
Right. Big enough enemies to allow Venom in their team?
Yeah, well, I'm about to say next month, Venom and Captain Marvel join the team, or Free Comic Day, whichever one it is. Next month's the 100th issue.
Yeah.
The book will spin off into Cyclops. Cyclops will be hanging out with his dad in space for a while in his own series.
Okay.
So that'll be fun. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It was a great arc. Should not work, but does. It was fun. Okay, I'm going to breeze through these two really quick.
All right.
Red Lanterns number 29 by Charles Soule and the artist's name, Alessandro Vitti.
Just still following the Supergirl story?
Picking up on the Supergirl story from a couple months ago with the Green Lanterns, Red Lanterns book. This is awesome. Charles Soule revamped a book that had been awful.
Yeah, I read the Zero and first issue, and they were terrible.
They were terrible. He writes other than maybe Pete Tomasi did, this guy writes the best Guy Gardner. And as you can see by the cover, Supergirl's getting used to Red Lanterns when Superman shows up.
Ooh.
I had never seen Guy Gardner and Superman talk before. Ever.
Yeah.
That was a fun conversation because Guy Gardner doesn't care who Superman is. It was just a nice touch. And then they're dangling the freaking Atrocitus plot line. There's a recurring plot of Atrocitus was thought to be killed, but he's actually alive. Mm-hmm. It's getting good. They're building something big. Like some civil war of the Red Lanterns, I think is what they're building to.
That'd be cool.
I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Great writer. The art, I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm really not. And finally, my one non-Marvel DC book, Serenity Leaves on the Wind, number 3.
Okay, and you want to explain this? It continues on the Serenity TV show?
There's the Firefly show, then the Serenity movie, and this continues after the movie.
Okay.
So this is by Zach Whedon and George's I don't know how to pronounce his name. Joss's brother. Yeah, one of the Whedon brothers is writing this with executive producer Joss Whedon. So Joss Whedon's kind of keeping an eye on this.
Right.
Guys, this is good. Zach Whedon knows how to write these characters.
So if you're a Firefly Serenity fan,
if you read this, if you like them, they treat the characters right. There's a great plot building. They use a couple villains that were underutilized in the original show, and they pick up some plot threads that Joss Whedon has said they wanted to do. Please read this. It's amazing. I think it's about 3 more issues after that. You can afford this. Do it. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. This is not accessible. This is not reader friendly for anyone who's not seen everything. Yeah. So unless you've done your homework, don't jump in. But it's fun nonetheless. That's all I got.
Same here overall. Pretty good week.
We had a stinker.
Yep.
Freaking Hulk.
Excited from what's to come in both worlds, Marvel and DC.
Next week will be fun. I don't remember anything I'm getting next week.
Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
March 29th, this Saturday.
This Saturday, guys.
WeCon. Western Carolina University, the University Center Grand Room on the 3rd floor, all day, 11 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
If you need to know where Western Carolina University is, Google it. It'll bring you up Google Maps. Come here. It's just a huge Comic-Con convention, and we're going to have tons of awesome stuff.
It's going to be so cool, you guys. Please come by. Until next week, I'm Hayden.
I'm Josh.
And
we are here.
we are here.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. See you next week.
Later.